Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And it is Saturday BOLO Day. We got some interesting things, a lot of things lined up for you this week. So seatbelt yourself in and get excited. Get ready for an exciting little ride. Take it away.
All right, here we go.
What can be more exciting than this?
Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful.
Kind of deflated all of my...
It's like a Picasso. Spalding official laceless antique 1930s deflated basketball. So my employee listed this. He may have ran comps or not. I didn't pay much at all for it. It was part of some deal. Someone offered me $100. I took it. We were asking 180 best offer. It was 220s. I feel like, it's deflated. What could it really be worth?
Ask Tom Brady. Didn't that cost him a couple $1 million?
Oh, that's like, me losing $20. All right. Nice. Anyways, if you see this out there, you could afford to pay $20-$30 for it. If it's deflated. If it's not deflated, well, God bless you for holding air that long. But,
that's true. That is true.
We'll move on from that one.
What if it's like you and full of hot air?
Exactly. All right, what not to buy? Rolling Stone magazine, July 22nd, 1979. Dan White, whoever that is, and Paul McCartney. Apparently, Dan White was more popular than Paul McCartney. But anyways, it took 4 years for this to sell. It's not a good rendition of Paul McCartney, but it took 4 years to sell, so I wouldn't go crazy buying, scarfing up Paul McCartney stuff.
Now you tell me, I literally have one of those sitting in the other part of the room.
I mean, if you didn't pay much, you throw it up for $10 and flip it. I think I got like $15 for mine after 4 years.
And actually, Paul McCartney is really not a BOLO overall. He's really not. He does not sell very well anymore. Just does not.
Maybe if you get, obviously a really signed item or a rare record or early autograph stuff, maybe. But, yeah, certainly not magazines from the 70s and 80s. Next up, Rusty's Lightning McQueen Cars Disney Pixar 14-inch talking car. There's going to be millions of these out there. I took $20 for it. It was $40 on sale for $25. I took $20. It doesn't look to be in the best condition. Looks like that sticker wear, but still for $20, I'm sure my kid had fun with it for a few years, and now I get $20 in my pocket.
Now, how would that have been released, and roughly what would that have cost new?
It probably been $20-$25 new, and I don't know what there's a year on there. Whenever the movie came out, it's got to be 10-15 years ago, right?
And was it on a card? Was it on a
No, it's box.
Flat?
It's big. It's like a 1/18 scale or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big car. Yeah. All right, next up, this is stuff that you sell. Spencer Speedway, Williamson, New York, 1968 program. I don't know if someone signed it on the bottom or crossed off a price or something like that. It took 6 years to sell. I got $15 out of it. You can't do much more than that.
No, and I'm actually surprised that lister did that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm sure I could have picked out a few Maynard Troyer I've heard of.
Oh, have you? Okay.
But again, if you put it on there, I don't think it would have sold much quicker. So.
Well, some of the problems, some of those are local people too that you may not,
Sure.
Again, if you're deep into the sport, you may know, but why would we know somebody from 1968 unless they made it big?
Exactly, yeah. All right.
We could look at it now and really pad the video and just read every name off. Maynard Troyer.
Yeah. Sure, we got time for that. Moving on. Sizzle Transformers G2 Vintage 1993 figure. I've never seen this before, but apparently my employee did. I took $30 on it. It's got normal wear, but it looks like a regular, like a hot rod streetcar, but it is a transformer.
Can I give a suggestion to you and your employee and anybody else that are wanting to sell?
My suggestion, fire my employee.
The other suggestion, Mr. Magazine actually got, I don't know if it was a neutral or a negative on one of the transformers because it was missing a piece because you had it made in the robot style. Okay. But they did not move it down into the car style or plane style or whatever it is. So you should probably
some of that's
make
tough
it in
to
both.
do. Yes, if we can. I mean, it's a little more time and effort, and it's a $30 item. And you may have to research how to transform it so you don't break it. They are older, but we do the best we can. But again, the guy could have said, "Hey, can I return it? Can I get a partial refund? Blah 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 blah. Do you have the part? There's lots of options." Next up, Evel Knievel blue suit, ideal vintage figure, 1972 7-inch style. Went for $45. Not bad shape. Someone asked me if the helmet comes off. I did not waste my time. I'm assuming it did come off. I said yes because they do come off, unless someone were to glue it, which I don't know why they would. But nevertheless, stranger things have happened. But any Evel Knievel out there, whether it's a white, red, blue outfit, any accessories, always buy them because they always sell.
I was just going to ask, I don't know if I've seen the blue one before. So it's like a red, white, and blue one is the usual one you see, right?
They had different sets that came with different suits and stuff like that. So yeah, very cool. Next up, I sold these before. I don't know if we had it up or not. We had a bunch of different binders, Pokemon binders, Wolverine binder. This is an X-Men 95 Flair Ultra. And you're talking 30 years old by now, which to me is pretty old and makes me feel even older. But anyways, it went for $50.
No cards?
No cards, just a binder.
Oh, my goodness.
We had some Pokemon ones as well that went for $30-$40. So if you see character binders that are 20, 30 years old, Marvel, Pokemon, I would scarf them up because you can probably buy them for $5.
Well, actually, probably what will happen is they'll want $50 on them, but they'll have a lot of cards inside.
Exactly, right.
So you could buy it, take the binder, sell the binder, and then...
And we do have more floating around with cards in it, like sports cards. Say we got a Pokemon binder and there's sports cards in it. Well, we pull them out and we'll sell the binder.
Yeah.
Why not?
Wow.
And I think that's it for me.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, I'll have to keep my eyes open for that. I just learned something today. I also learned that from the Buffalo Bills Grill, Cookbooks, cannot say that word. Soft cover, 1998, Jim Kelly, Andre Reed. Got that. Mr. Magazine actually saw it in my living room before it got listed and said, I bet that sells. And it sold fairly quickly.
Oh, it's the error because it has Cornelius Bennett, and you thought it was Andre Reed and Steve Tasker.
I believe Andre Reed is inside.
Oh, I'm sure he's inside. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
See?
On the cover, I see Cornelius Bennett.
Yeah, I don't know who I knew who Jim Kelly was. I don't know anybody else there, so that's why I put Andre Reed for the inside. I figured probably Thurman Thomas is probably in there. All those guys are probably in there.
Right.
Sure. But I didn't want to promise without them being in there. Do you notice what I did that somebody who is going to be technical would not be happy with what I did on this listing? What is the title?
From the Bills Grill.
And what is my title?
From the Buffalo Bills Grill.
Yep. I threw the word Buffalo in there.
Why would you not?
Well, because I could see some people saying, well, the title is from the Bills Grill, so list it from the Bills Grill, and then list the word Buffalo later.
Oh, that's crazy.
I could see people doing that because technically the title is from the Bills Grill.
Right.
But, again, I went against protocol on that one and said, look, it's Buffalo Bills. That's what's going to sell the thing.
Right.
They can take a look at the picture and see exactly what it is as well.
Number one, you're a veteran lister, been doing it 20, 30 years. Two, it's sold. I wouldn't worry about those people.
Yeah.
Who needs them?
Thank you. Wow, you're in a mood tonight. Up next, JR's Cookbook. It is cookbook season. If you are out there, people are out there grilling, doing everything, so make sure you go out there and grab those cookbooks. That really is a BOLO right now.
Yeah.
This is signed.
By JR?
By JR, Jim Ross.
Wow.
Yeah, I took a $15 offer on it plus shipping. Sold fairly quickly. Always show the autograph, which I'm sure I did somewhere. Oh, there it is. To Patrick from your pal, Jim Ross, dated. And again, I know we've talked about this in the past. There are people out there that worry, can I sell signed items without certification, without...
Listen, we've been doing it for decades. It never had issues, and we're not going to have any issues.
Especially on that.
Right.
It depends on what the item is, obviously.
Right. Now, if Trish Stratus or Stacy Keibler signed it on the cover, well, that's a different ballgame because they are expensive autographs.
Okay. But again, nobody is going to fake this autograph, fake the date, and also put the name inside like that, and then do all of that and then sell it to me for $1 at a house call. That's not going to happen.
If they did, it'd be worth the same amount of money.
But yeah, so don't sweat that kind of thing. The next item up we have the George S. Parker fountain pen vintage box. There is no pen, just the box. I took a $20 offer on it. Does have a price sticker on it, which I probably could have gotten off should I, wanted to do so, but I said, nope, we'll just leave that on or leave it exactly as it sits. And it actually went overseas. Somebody overseas ended up buying this box. So I saw it at a sale. I think they wanted $3 on it, and I said, I can just tell it's old just by the printing of it and everything like that. And I said, hey, it's got to be a pretty good box. And sure enough, it ended up selling.
Cool.
Up next, Kodak brochure, NASA Space Telescope Mirror, 1983. Have you ever seen this, Mr. Magazine?
No, I mean, I've seen Kodak brochures. I
Right.
haven't seen this NASA one, and it's being, what are we talking about, 40 years old here? Pretty cool. $20 seems a little cheap, but hey. I'm sure you only paid $1 for it.
Yeah, I didn't pay anything. It came in a lot or something other like that. But again, the NASA is what sells it, but these are the kind of things you can find around here because Kodak was so huge around here. Wherever you're watching this at, you've got similar things. Maybe not Kodak, but you've got whatever companies are around, whatever is really popular around you. And again, we stress this all the time. What are a couple of things I've sold? The Buffalo Bills, common around here. Eastman Kodak, common around here. I'm not going to sit there and try to, why try to fight what's out there if you can buy what's out there and make money off of it?
Exactly.
Up next, these are also close by, the Adirondacks. Placemat. I took a $20 offer on this over here, 1970 Ski Big Tupper Lake, New York. I ended up buying this at a flea market, as a matter of fact, and I'm sure I paid less than $1 for it because these are the kind of things you throw on a pile of stuff and the guy goes, oh, okay, and doesn't really charge you for it as long as you're buying enough stuff in the bundle. This gets thrown in for free, and to get $20 out of it, very, very happy with that. Placemats do sell, and certainly placemats of a place like the Adirondacks where you've got a lot of
tourists. What year was this? 1970s?
70s, yep.
I'm curious if Ski Big Tupper ever had any like big tippers
or clothing.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah. True, yeah.
Wouldn't you want to wear Tupperware?
Yeah, exactly. It makes a lot of sense.
Up next.
A silly day.
USS Harvard, dance invitation card, March 3rd, 1919. Originally, when I saw this, well, first off, those S's are a little hard to tell what they are right there on that, as you can see. Second, I thought it was the University of Harvard. So I bought it with the expectation it had something to do with the school, and I said, oh, okay, whatever. Well, then I did a little research, and it turns out the USS Harvard is a ship. So, was able to sell because of that. Where did I put it at? I don't know. I don't see where I put it at. I'm sure I put it in the probably the military spot or the transportation ship spot, one of those two spots. But again, it's just literally a card. Yeah. And these things are great to sell because they're easy to pack up and they're also very, very easy to store.
Cool.
It's a beautiful thing about those. Denmark, SO map, lot of 4, Denmark. 1960s, a lot of 4 maps. Took a sold it for $20 at a bid, I believe it was. But quite happy with that. I was actually at an estate sale and they had 2 boxes of maps, $15 a box. Just loaded full of maps, and this basically got me out of 1 box right here alone for 4 maps.
Yeah.
The box had more than 4 maps in it, in case you were wondering.
I believe it, yeah.
In case you were wondering. But again, I don't do very much with maps, but I do foreign maps. Those I tend to sell better because, again, they're a little more difficult to find over here. And if you're a collector of maps and you like the foreign maps, you can end up charging a little more if you're an American seller.
Yeah.
Because generally your competition is going to be overseas. The buyer has to pay the shipping from overseas.
Right.
Well, does he want to pay $10 to somebody in Denmark plus 20 shipping, or pay 20 to you?
Right.
All things being equal, he'd rather have it from you because there's less problems with something happening.
Yeah.
Easier to return if there is a problem, and so on.
Well, plus, if you're selling 4 foreign maps, you're going to get more money than if you're selling 1 foreign map.
Generally, I would hope so. Yes, you would. I would hope so. And finally, Cunard Lines, RMS Mauritania dinner menu, July 29th, 1934. $28. And one thing that I'm just noticing now, and
you sell a lot of $20 items. Yeah, 25. Yeah, that's good. I like it.
The other thing I'm noticing, everything I think I listed or showed today, which is basically the highlights of the last week's worth of sales, are all things that I listed in 23 or 24.
Correct.
The new stuff seems to be selling as opposed to the older stuff right now. So it's kind of interesting as well. Sometimes you'll go through periods where a lot of the things that you sell are older items. This happens not to be one of them.
Right.
But again, why did somebody want July 29th, 1934 dinner menu? I don't know. I'm happy that they did, though. Perhaps they were just looking for some dinner suggestions for their Memorial Day weekend thing. I don't know. But who wouldn't want all of those beautiful foods? So when you do see those, do pick them up. Usually you can pick them up for about $1 or something other like that. They don't fly off the shelf by any means whatsoever, but if you can turn $1 into 28, more often you do it, more money makes.
Where do you think those ships go? Like, where used cars go and no one wants used cars and they get new ones? Where do you think all these ships go? They break them down?
Do you want the honest answer?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Okay.
They send them over to like India, places like that, and they break them down. I've actually read articles about it, and they do break them down into scrap. Yep.
Oh, gotcha.
India, I think, is one of the sponsors.
So like
do
this
that.
broken down, there might have been hundreds of these menus in there, and then they'd probably just burn them.
Yeah,
throw
do
'em
something
out.
with them. Yep, there, and who knows what other things might have been there as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, that if somebody or other was smart, instead of scrapping it out,
Sure.
they'd be selling it.
Interesting.
Wow, we all learned
No,
something.
I learned something today.
Another crazy thing is I've actually read an article about it, which tells you I really need a hobby.
Mm.
Your hobby should be hitting the like button if you could. Definitely would appreciate it, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye bye.